They laughed at her when she walked into that room. Not because she did anything wrong, but because they thought she was nothing. They didn't know that moment would change their lives forever. You know that feeling, don't you? When you walk into a space and immediately feel like you don't belong. When eyes skin you up and down and dismiss you in seconds. When you're judged not by your intelligence, not by your skills, not by what you've accomplished, but by what you look like. By where you came from. By assumptions people make before you even open your mouth. Maya felt it the second she stepped through those doors. That invisible wall. That silent message that screamed, "You're not one of us." And what happened next? It broke her. It humiliated her. It pushed her to a breaking point that most people never recover from. But here's what they didn't know. Here's what those people who laughed and whispered and dismissed her couldn't see. She wasn't just another person they could look down on. She was carrying a truth. A secret. Something that would flip everything upside down and make every single one of them regret the moment they underestimated her. If you believe no one deserves to be judged by their appearance, if you've ever felt invisible in a room full of people who thought they were better than you, then do me a favor right now, hit that like button, share this story with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to True Tone Story, because what you're about to witness is a reminder that the person you underestimate today might be the one who changes everything tomorrow. This story will hit close to home, and you'll want to remember where you heard it. Her name was Maya Thompson. And the moment she stepped through those glass doors, she could feel it. The shift in the air. The way their eyes moved over her like she was invisible. Or worse, like she was exactly what they expected. The law firm of Harrington and Associates didn't look like the kind of place that welcomed people like her. Marble floors. Chrome fixtures. Women in tailored suits that cost more than her rent. She smoothed down the front of her blazer, the one she'd bought on clearance 3 years ago, and walked toward the reception desk. The receptionist glanced up. Her smile was polite. "Empty. Can I help you?" Maya kept her voice steady. "I'm here for the executive meeting. Conference room B." The receptionist's eyes flickered. Just for a second. Then she reached for the phone without a word. Maya knew that look. She'd seen it her whole life. As she walked down the hallway, she passed 2 junior associates. They were younger than her. Probably fresh out of law school. One of them whispered something to the other. They both laughed. Maya kept walking. When she reached the conference room, the door was already open. Inside, a dozen people sat around a long table. Expensive watches. Confident postures. The kind of people who'd never had to prove they belonged anywhere. She stepped inside. The conversation didn't stop. But it slowed. Eyes turned. Subtle. Dismissive. A man at the head of the table, late 50s, gray hair, custom suit, looked up from his notes. "I'm sorry, are you looking for someone?" Maya met his gaze. "No, sir. I'm here for the meeting." A woman across the table, blonde, sharp features, let out a soft laugh. "I think there's been a mistake. This is a senior partner meeting." Maya didn't flinch. "I know." The man at the head of the table frowned. "And you are?" "Maya Thompson." Silence. No recognition. No understanding. Just confusion. The blonde woman leaned back in her chair. "I'm sorry, but I don't think you're supposed to be here. Maybe you're looking for HR? Or the admin floor." Someone snickered. Maya felt the heat rise in her chest. But she didn't move. Didn't raise her voice. "I was invited," she said quietly. The man at the head of the table sighed. He looked annoyed now. "By who?" And that's when she heard the comment that broke her. A younger man near the end of the table muttered under his breath. "Just loud enough. Probably here to serve coffee." Laughter rippled through the room. Quiet. Controlled. But unmistakable. Maya's fingers tightened around the strap of her bag. She didn't say a word. She just stood there, watching them, feeling the weight of every assumption they'd made about her in the span of 30 seconds. The blonde woman waved her hand dismissively. "Look, sweetheart, I don't know what happened, but you're clearly in the wrong place. Why don't you just—" Actually, a voice said from the doorway, "She's exactly where she's supposed to be." Everyone turned. A tall black woman in a burgundy suit stepped into the room. Her name was Vanessa Clark, senior partner, one of the most powerful attorneys in the city. and the only other black woman in the building. But even she didn't smile. She looked at Maya, then at the table. Is there a problem here? The man at the head of the table straightened. Vanessa, we weren't expecting. You weren't expecting her, Vanessa interrupted. That much is obvious. The room went quiet. Maya felt something crack inside her chest. Not anger. Something deeper. Shame. Because even now, with Vanessa standing there, she could feel it. The doubt. The question that had followed her everywhere she'd ever been. Do I really belong here? Vanessa gestured toward an empty chair. Sit down, Maya. Maya hesitated. Then she walked to the chair and sat. Every eye in the room followed her. No one said a word. But she could feel it. The judgment. The resentment. The assumption that she was only there because someone felt sorry for her. The meeting started. Maya stayed quiet. She took notes. Listened. Watched. But every time she glanced up, someone was looking at her. Like she was a mistake that hadn't been corrected yet. 20 minutes in, the blonde woman, her name was Catherine, made a comment about a case Maya had worked on. A case Catherine didn't know Maya had worked on. The Richardson brief was a disaster, Catherine said. Whoever drafted it clearly didn't understand corporate liability. It cost us credibility with the client. Maya's pen stopped moving. She looked up. Catherine was staring right at her. Smiling. I'm just saying, Catherine continued, we need to be more careful about who we trust with high-stakes work. Someone across the table nodded. Maya's throat tightened. She knew what this was. She'd seen it before. The subtle sabotage. The public humiliation disguised as constructive criticism. And she knew if she defended herself, she'd look defensive. Emotional. Exactly what they expected. So she said nothing. What none of them knew was the truth she had been carrying for years. Maya Thompson wasn't just another associate. She wasn't someone who'd been handed an opportunity out of pity. She was someone who had fought for everything she had. Someone who'd worked 2 jobs to put herself through law school. Someone who'd raised her younger brother after their mother died. Someone who'd been promised a promotion 3 times and passed over every single time for someone younger, whiter, and less qualified. And the Richardson case Catherine just criticized? Maya had written that brief in 2 days. Alone. After the lead attorney quit without notice and left the entire team scrambling. It was the brief that saved the client. The brief that brought in $3 million in new business. But Catherine didn't know that. Because Maya's name had been left off the final filing. The meeting dragged on. By the time it ended, Maya felt hollow. Drained. She gathered her things and stood to leave. That's when Catherine stepped in front of her. Hey, Catherine said, her voice low. Sweet. No hard feelings, okay? I'm just trying to keep standards high around here. I'm sure you understand. Maya looked at her. Really looked at her. And for the first time, she didn't look away. I understand perfectly, Maya said. Catherine smiled. Then she walked away. Maya stood there for a moment. Alone in the empty conference room. That was the moment she almost walked away until something unexpected happened. Her phone buzzed. A text message. From a number she didn't recognize. It said, "Check your email. Now." Maya frowned. She pulled out her laptop and opened her inbox. There was one new message. The subject line read, Senior Partnership Nomination, Confidential. Her heart stopped. She clicked it open. The email was from the executive board. The real executive board. The people who actually ran the firm. And it said, Dear Ms. Thompson, after careful review of your contributions over the past 5 years, we are pleased to inform you that you have been selected as one of 3 candidates for senior partnership. Your formal interview is scheduled for next week. Please do not share this information until the official announcement. Maya stared at the screen. Her hands were shaking. She read it again. Then again. Suddenly, everything made sense. The meeting she'd just sat through? That wasn't the executive meeting. It was a department meeting. A routine check-in for mid-level associates. She'd been invited by mistake. Or maybe not a mistake. Maybe someone wanted to see how she'd handle it. Maya closed her laptop. She looked around the empty room. And for the first time in years, she smiled. Because suddenly, Everyone was about to realize they may have judged the wrong person. The announcement came 3 days later. It was sent firm-wide. An email from the managing partner himself. We are proud to announce the promotion of Maya Thompson to senior partner, effective immediately. Ms. Thompson has demonstrated exceptional leadership, legal acumen, and dedication to this firm. She will be overseeing the corporate litigation division and will report directly to the executive board. Maya was in her office when it went out. Within minutes, her phone started ringing. She didn't answer. She just sat there, watching the notifications pile up. An hour later, there was a knock on her door. It was Catherine. Her face was pale, tight. "Maya," she said. I didn't know. I mean, no one told me you were being considered for partner?" Maya finished. Catherine nodded. Maya leaned back in her chair. "You didn't ask." Catherine opened her mouth, closed it. Then she just stood there. "I'm sorry," she finally said. Maya didn't respond. Catherine shifted uncomfortably. I didn't mean to." "Yes, you did," Maya said quietly. Catherine's face flushed. "You meant every word," Maya continued. "You looked at me and decided I didn't belong. You assumed I was less than you. And you treated me that way." Catherine looked down. "I'm not angry," Maya said. "But I won't forget." Catherine nodded. Then she left. Over the next few days, others came too. The man who'd made the coffee joke. He apologized. The associates who'd whispered in the hallway. They apologized. Even Vanessa stopped by. "I'm proud of you," Vanessa said. Maya smiled. "Thank you for standing up for me." Vanessa shook her head. "I didn't stand up for you, Maya. I just made sure they knew you were supposed to be there. You stood up for yourself." Maya thought about that. She thought about all the times she'd stayed quiet. All the times she'd swallowed her anger. All the times she'd convinced herself it wasn't worth the fight. And she realized something. Silence wasn't weakness. It was strategy. Because the people who'd underestimated her, they'd never seen her coming. 2 weeks later, Maya stood in front of the entire firm. It was her first address as senior partner. The room was packed. She looked out at the faces. Some of them were familiar. Some of them had laughed at her. Some of them had ignored her. And some of them were looking at her now with something different. Respect. Maya took a breath. "I want to tell you a story," she began. "When I first started here, I was told to keep my head down. Work hard. Don't make waves. And for a long time I did. I stayed quiet when I should have spoken up. I let things slide when I should have pushed back. I convinced myself that if I just worked hard enough, people would see me." She paused. "But here's what I learned. People don't see you because you work hard. They see you because you demand to be seen." The room was silent. "Respect doesn't come from wealth or status," Maya continued. "It comes from character. It comes from showing up. From doing the work even when no one's watching. From refusing to shrink yourself to make other people comfortable." She looked directly at Catherine. "And it comes from remembering that the person you underestimate today might be the person signing your paycheck tomorrow." A few people shifted uncomfortably, but most of them nodded. Maya stepped back from the podium. "Thank you," she said simply. And then she walked off. The applause started slow. Then it grew. By the time she reached the door, the entire room was on their feet. Maya didn't look back. She didn't need to, because she'd already proven everything she needed to prove. Not to them, to herself. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to True Tone Story, where every story has a lesson worth remembering. Have you ever been judged unfairly? Share your story in the comments. Because the truth is, we've all been Maya at some point. We've all walked into a room where we didn't fit. We've all been dismissed, underestimated, overlooked. But here's the thing. Those moments don't define you. What you do next does. So the next time someone tries to make you feel small, remember Maya. Remember that silence can be power. That patience can be strategy. And that the people who laugh at you today might be the same people applauding you tomorrow. Don't shrink. Don't apologize. And don't ever let anyone convince you that you don't belong. Because you do.